Welcome everyone to Hack Your COVID Life. It's a video series we've put together at Sourcebooks to help you and your families through this unprecedented time. We'll be talking with a number of our authors on a wide range of topics from parenting to money to self-care and providing information, tips, tools, resources, and advice that you can use in your homes right now to make life a little easier for everyone. I'm Liz Kelch, Director of Marketing at Sourcebooks, and speaking of our homes, I'm joined by Tracy McCubbin. She's the founder of Declutter, and she is the author of Making Space Clutter-Free. Thanks so much for joining us, Tracy.
Thanks, Liz. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, Tracy, we are all at home, and if social media is any indication, people are clearing out their closets, organizing their garages. In fact, my pantry has never looked so good. So are you seeing the same uptick in decluttering activity right now?
I am. I'm seeing a lot of people, tackling those projects, really wanting to get things done, having a little bit of extra time, so now I can finally get to it. But what I'm also seeing is a lot of people who are feeling overwhelmed and, wondering like, why can't I do this as easier as everybody else is? Everybody makes it look so easy. I now have the time. What I really want people to understand is that this time is so stressful, right? What we're going through is so stressful. And so maybe you don't have it in you to do the giant top to bottom your garage. But if you can break the projects up into smaller, doable things, maybe a drawer, maybe half a closet, you're going to be a lot more successful.
Great advice. Take it in bits.
Exactly. Take it in bits. And don't, what people don't understand it. So the thing about clutter and decluttering is it's a decision-making process. Everything you come across, you have to decide, do I keep it or do I let it go? Mm-hmm. And what's going on with us right now is that we are in information overload. We're, doom scrolling and we're following the news. And so our capacity to make decisions is a little bit limited. So understand when you go into a decluttering project that if you can set yourself up for success, give yourself maybe a timer, and I'm going to do this for a half an hour, take it in bite-sized chunks and feel successful and feel how good it feels to when you're done. It's going to propel you to the next project.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to know too, in your book, you dig into the why of clutter before you get to the how of decluttering. Can you explain the 7 clutter blocks that you've identified and why it's so important to, sort that out before you dive into your junk drawer?
So I've been doing this for 13 years now. I've worked with thousands of clients. And the thing that I saw was exactly what you called these emotional clutter blocks, these stories that we've written about why we can't possibly get rid of our stuff. It's everything from my stuff keeps me stuck in the past, our clothes we don't fit into anymore, or our kids' toys, to I'm not worth my good stuff. I'm seeing right now we're all eating at home, and I put a post up the other day about, why don't you use your nice china? You're here, why not? You got the time to hand wash it. And all of a sudden, everyone started flooding me back with, we set a nice table tonight. It felt so good to share a meal and not eat on the couch. And, so this is the time that we're confronting these blocks. And I think that if decluttering doesn't come easy for you, which, you're seeing everybody do on social media, I think I want people to understand that there's an emotional component. It's not if it was as simple as just go get rid of it, you would have done that. So I think with people being stuck in their homes, they're actually really finding out why they're blocked. So these emotional clutter blocks that I talk about in my book there's 7 of them. We all have them. They, for me, mine is number 3. I avoid my stuff. I don't like to open my mail. I don't like to read my emails. It's just, who I am. So when you realize that, it's something bigger than I'm lazy, because that's not usually what it is. There's something that's blocking me there. And now when you have a little bit more time, maybe it's a good time to go a little bit deeper and understand, our relationship to our homes are changing so much right now. We're in them. People are really saying like, does my home make me happy? Do I feel good in every room? You know, do I like being here? Because I'm going to be here for another month. So I actually think it's a great time to kind of look at like, here, I want everyone to feel happy in their home. And so if you're not, let's look at that.
Yeah. And I think addressing the why now probably helps from slipping back into, the clutter once we all come out of this, and
Exactly.
recognizing that.
Exactly. And understanding that it's emotional. You know, one of the things that I'm seeing with people is this mindset of like, oh, I'm not buying the way I used to. I can't go to the store in the way I used to. So I got to hold on to all this stuff because I might need it, which is great. We need to be really frugal right now. But if you are never going to sew a button on, do you need 1,000 buttons? Right?
Right. Exactly. So right now we have parents and kids at home all the time. So what are some tips to keeping the house organized each day, and how can parents get their kids involved in that?
This is kind of the number one SOS question I've been getting from people. So I think it's two things. I think one, set a daily routine. When all this started, I can get a little lack about this. I got back on making my bed every day, putting all my clothes away at the end of the night, doing all the dishes, so that when we wake up in the morning over here, the house is neat. Like we can get started with our day. It feels better. And I think in the same way with parents, if you can build in, and look, I know the struggle is real, but if you can build in the time at the end of the day to put everything away, you're going to wake up feeling better. And I'll tell you this, parents, your kids do it when they're at school. They put all their toys away when their teachers ask them. So they have the ability to do it. The other thing is to show your kids that the benefits of being organized, that if they put everything away, they know where it lives. So that where's my Legos? Where's my this? That conversation stops. It gives them autonomy. It gives them independence. So it's about showing that being organized and being decluttered isn't about you're a bad, messy kid. But when you do this, you can find your stuff. I also have had the universe has played the greatest joke on me. My great love is very messy. So, thank you, universe. So I've had to negotiate how do we, and right now we're living in a loft. We have 950 square feet. So I've had to understand that he has a space that is his space and he can do with it what I will. I don't go over there. But the communal space, the space we really share together, we're decluttering because it makes me happy. It makes me less stressed. So, we've had to find a language around it. And, for him, it's when he feels nagged is when it all falls apart. But I say, you know what, let's do this together. Let's neaten up. Then we can start the day. And we're just getting in a nice rhythm about it. But it is the cosmic joke, Liz.
That is pretty funny. And I'm glad you mentioned that because, everyone has different ways of organizing, and the same thing's happening in my house. So I will, I will take your advice.
For the people who are non-clutterers, the ones who's it's easy to get away, the thing you have to remember about the messy people is that there's a lot of shame, right? That they've heard their whole lives. They're messy, they're wrong, they're bad. Right. It's not that, it's that no one's shown them the other way and how it can benefit them. So that's what I like to talk about in the book, about this will benefit you. This will help you. This will help our relationship. This will help our house. When my beloved is walking around looking for something, I just smile and say, but if you put it away in the same place every day, you would know where to find it. And now, after 3 weeks of being in the house, he's got a place for everything, and those conversations are going away. So that manic, where's my, goes away. And so that's a great thing to remember when you're the organized person dealing with the unorganized person, is to not shame them.
Right. Excellent. Well, let's move on to actual cleaning. So obviously we're all very concerned with germs and just, keeping our houses as germ-free and safe right now as possible. So what are some of the best ways to do that?
Yeah, this is great. So what I'm suggesting to people is that you have almost a shipping and receiving area, so that where things come into the house, if you're getting packages at groceries, that you have a landing area where they can go, you can wipe down the boxes, you can throw the boxes away, that you have a workspace so that you can clean everything. The other thing is that space, that if it's a mudroom or an entryway or where you come in and out, get all the extra stuff out. The coats nobody's wearing, the shoes nobody's. Look, we're wearing one pair of shoes when we go out. Put everything else away. The less you have to deal with, the easier that process becomes.
Mm-hmm.
And also another great thing to tackle, now's the time to tackle where you store your cleaning supplies. Do you have them in a laundry room? Do you have them under the kitchen sink? I'm using completely different products than I've ever used. I always use natural things. I'm not even looking at those right now. So those have all moved to the back. The half empty bottles, thrown away. The stuff I need to get my hands on right away is all right together in the front. And that will help people quell their anxiety. I know where to go and get the Lysol. I know where to get the disinfectant. It's right there. So, do a little bit of organizing. It's the same thing in your pantry. Put like with like. Put all your beans together, all your tomatoes together, so that when you go to the grocery store once a week, we're right now going every 2 weeks, right. You have a list, you know what you have. So you're not buying, you don't come home and you're like, well, now I have, I did see somebody sent their husband to the store and asked him to get 10 pounds of garbanzo beans, and he didn't realize the size, so came home with 72-ounce cans. I was like, this is why you take a list when you go to the grocery store.
Oh, that's good advice too. Yeah, I like that. And we talked a little bit earlier too about, everyone is clearing stuff out, right? And normally donation recycling centers are, the places to go to get rid of a lot of that stuff, but they're largely closed right now. So what do we do with the extra stuff?
This is great. So I have a couple suggestions. One, you can box or bin or put everything in bags, seal it up so you aren't tempted to go back in it, and just write donations and tuck it in a corner. Ideally, if you have a little space in the garage or a closet you're not getting into, so that it's out of sight, out of mind. That, and then wait till we reopen that. The other thing that people have been doing, really, I've seen this with books. I love this. And kids' toys. People have posted on Facebook, I just finished this book. Anybody want to read it? And then they'll go and drop it off. Or kids' toys. My kids don't play with this anymore. They'll drop it off on somebody's doorstep so that they have something to, so find your community that you can give it in. I'm also suggesting to people with your clothes, if you do a big closet purge, plan with your friends that when this is over to do a clothes swap. Everyone's so sick of their clothes by the time this is over. So it's a great way to see everybody again and get rid of clothes. So that's fun. But there are a few places. The YMCA has started to open their YMCAs for homeless people. And a couple of the shelters are still taking some clothes and towels. So there are a few places that are taking some things. Towels are much needed. So, just pay attention to your local newspaper. There are a few places that are taking that stuff.
Okay, great. And last question, if you haven't already started decluttering your house, what would you as the expert recommend the best spot in the house to start your decluttering journey?
So this is what goes back to what I was saying about, does your house make you happy? Are you happy to be in your house? Aside from the fact that we're all stuck at home, but, I suggested people during this time, pick the spot that makes you the craziest. Is it your linen closet? Is it your clothes closet? What makes you the craziest? What have you been like, I've been dying to get my hands on that? Because if you can start there and you feel the satisfaction, you feel the weight lifted, and you feel the energy come through, it's going to propel you to do the other parts of your house.
Excellent. Well, I'm ready to go organize some more
Yay!
things. So I'm inspired, Tracy. Thank you
Great.
so much for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Liz. Always good to chat with you.
All great advice. And Tracy, as I mentioned, is the author of Making Space Clutter Free. You can also visit her at declutterfly.com, where you can find other helpful resources, articles, and information. And if you check out Tracy's Facebook page, this is Tracy McCubbin, she is doing her own short videos with more helpful tips on organizing projects. So we hope we won't have to do this video series for very much longer, but we will be sharing our chats for as long as is necessary. Stay safe, everyone. Thanks.